Hi, this is Bob Skilnick again, and I am the author of this new book, Beer and Food in American History. And went through a newspaper article a couple of days ago about a restaurant in Virginia that's having some sort of a problem with the local state alcohol regulatory agency. Seems that this fella had developed a beer popsicle, and because of some legal technicalities, they've had to pull it off their menu. And I thought, well, I don't have to do that here at the confines of my kitchen right outside of Chicago. So what I'm going to do is put together a little recipe for a beer popsicle that you can make at home, and use this as a basis because the variations on something like this are just tremendous. What we're going to do, number one, I have a bottle of Miller Chill. This is the new beer they have out now, a Chelada style. It has a little bit of lime and just a slight hint of salt. And apparently it's pretty popular because it's one of the biggest hits on my blog at www.beerandfood.wordpress.com. And so I thought, since this beer seems to be getting so much recognition, I'd use this as the basis for our first popsicle. So stick with us, we're going to make it and show you the results. Okay, to get started with this, I've taken a 12-ounce bottle of the Miller Chelada. I've been trying to cut back a little bit during the summer on the calories and the carbohydrates. This is a great beer for it because it has 110 calories in a 12-ounce serving, and it has 6.5 carbohydrates. But you could actually do this with any beer. But the fact that it already is infused with a little bit of lime and salt, I thought would make it more of an interesting adult character. Open it up, and into a measuring cup, I put in the 12 ounces of the Miller Chelada beer. Now it has lime, but I want something that brings out a little bit more lime flavor to it and not necessarily an overpowering beer flavor. So what I've done is I've taken some of the outer peel here of a small lime, and I measured out about a quarter of a teaspoon. Throw that in here, and because I already have this figured out that this will actually fill my little container here for making these little popsicles. They fit in like this. I'm also going to put just a little bit of lime in here. And here we go. I've got a reamer. And another reason I want to bring up the flavor a little bit, I know that the alcohol is going to freeze, make it a little bit slushy, but adding a little bit more liquid volume to it, I'm going to ensure that it's probably going to freeze up a little bit faster too. So I'm squeezing in the juice here from half a lime, and I have another half here, so one small lime. Emma would say just to kick it up a little bit. Also, I want to add a little sweetness to it. Now, you can use sugar. I'm using Splenda because, as I say, I'm cutting back a little bit to the 12 ounces and to the juice from the lime. I'm adding 1, 2, and 3 packets of Splenda. Now understand something, if you taste this prior to freezing it, it might be a little too sweet, but that's what you want, because when the beer freezes, and the same thing if you're making ice cream at home, you want to make it sweeter than it would be when it's cold. The cold mutes the sweetness, so if you make it, it tastes fine to you, it's not too sweet, it's not too tart, you freeze it, it's going to tend to be a little bit too tart for your taste. So I found with these 3 little packets of Splenda, it's a little bit too sweet, but when you freeze it, it comes out just right. And because it's lime, I'm going to take a little bit of McCormick's here, the green food coloring, and just purely for aesthetics, pour maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon in. There it is. Take take a little taste. Ooh, that's nice. Very good. Next step, real simple one. Pour it into these containers, and you could buy these at probably any local food store, especially right now in the seasonal section. You don't want to fill these to the top because the popsicles or the Chelada stickles will expand, and you don't want it, you know, coming over to the sides. So I've got it pretty much distributed with a little bit of a gap. Going to put the tops on, and these tops, I like these because actually as they melt, if you're holding it like this, you can actually suck on some of the juices that's coming out too, rather than it having it fall all over you. Put them in, boom, and that's it. Stick them in the freezer, I would say maybe 5-6 hours. Obviously, the more you keep on picking in there, taking a look, the more problems you're going to have. So we're going to take these, put them in the freezer, and I just happen to have one here. This I had in it overnight. That's it. And now for the moment of truth. Let's see. Ooh, very nice. The beer, you can pick up the beer at the end. First taste is of the lime. Sweetness is perfect. As I say, if you're going to make this, make it a little bit too sweet, because when it freezes, the sweetness is going to be muted a little bit. So forget about Virginia. Make this at home. And I think you'll really like these. So don't forget, stop by www.beerandfoodwordpress.com, and we'll have this recipe up there as a video, and I'll have the written explanation there too, and a lot more recipes. Stop by, and thanks again. We'll see you later.